Okay, hi everyone. It's Curly Girl Coach here. Be sure to look me up at curlygirlcoach.com. Today we have just gone darker for the fall. My client was ready to get rid of those highlights, and that's what we did. We've already colored and deep conditioned. So now we're gonna go ahead and detangle, blow dry, flat iron, and curl. Now, I do not normally work on Sundays, but thanks to Helene, we are here on a good Sunday today. So follow along, ask any questions in the comments, and we're gonna get to it. I'll be a little bit quiet. My client and I probably will be talking, but I will definitely be checking in with you all as we go through her styling process today. She normally does wear her hair in its curly state, but we're gonna blow her out today since we got this fresh color so we can get a good trim. So her wedding is in a couple months, so we went ahead and did her color now. And yeah, let's get to it. We're going to use Mazzani Miracle 25 leave-in conditioner today. And I like to use liquid leave-in conditioners before I blow dry, just because to me it gives you less smoke, it gives you less yeah, and it just works a little better. So my preferred way to detangle is a part straight down the middle, and then I go to the side, so 2 in the front and 6 pieces in the back. And I'll be using the Curly Girl Coach detangler brush. You can find it on the website, curlygirlcoach.com. It's actually a pink brush, but I always take it apart because I clean them so much. And I don't want water in between them. But it's a great detangler, and also it does a great job to pop your curls. I use the detangler as well when I'm doing wash and goes, so it's super versatile and I love it. So I always Bantu knot. I actually have a video up right now that is talking about Bantu knots and why I prefer them while I am detangling. So Bantu knots do such a great job to keep the moisture locked in the hair, and that's whether you're going to a straight style or a curly style after, because you don't want the hair to dry out too much. So once the hair is nice and detangled, you can just, you see how easily I'm gliding through the hair, but once it's nice and detangled, then you just do the Bantu knot. And how you do that, you're twisting the hair all the way to the end, and if this makes sense, you're going to twist the hair around itself, okay? So you're going to keep going underneath the hair and keep twisting the hair while you're twisting it, and go around in a circle, and boom, you got your Bantu knot. And we're going to follow this same method in each section to get her hair fully detangled. And I like to detangle first as well. I like to detangle first as well because it just makes the blow dry process much easier. Oh yeah, her hair is very beautiful. And curly hair is so versatile. You can wear it curly, you can wear it straight, and this particular client, she normally does wear it curly, but since we just finished coloring it, We want to make sure that her ends are nice and healthy, and we're going to blow it dry. We're going to blow it out today. So sometimes those Bantu knots don't like to stay if some of the ends are too straight, which is okay because we're about to blow dry it anyway. And at this point, you want the parts to be straight-ish, but doesn't really matter because, you know, this is really just transitional so that we can get to the next portion and get her blow dried. And when you're detangling curly hair, you want to do it from ends to root. And especially if you have somebody that may be a little tenderhead, you can just hold the hair, go through to the ends, and work your way up to the top. I see people in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe. Thanks so much for tuning in on this good Sunday. Now, I don't generally work on Sundays. I was telling some of the people earlier, but thanks to Helene, I had some closures this week. So just to get my clients in, I'm taking a couple people today. So I decided to go live with you all. So thanks so much for tuning in. And again, for those who just joined, we're just going to go through and Bantu knot every section. Today we're going to blow dry her with a paddle brush, my paddle Demon, which is my favorite. Last live we did, we used a round brush, which round brushing is fine, but my favorite is the paddle brush, especially when I'm going through blow drying curly hair. You can get some good tension and some good surface area at the same time. So once I start blow drying, of course, it's going to be a little loud. So if you have any questions, I love the hair. Me too. Thank you so much. Her hair is absolutely gorgeous. So if you have any questions, especially while I'm blow drying, just put it in the chat. And I'll be happy to answer. Okay, so I blow dried, or I have her detangled. Thanks so much for subscribing. So we've detangled. We've got 2 sections in the front and 4 in the back. And I'm going to use my Demon paddle brush. And we'll go through. So there was a subscriber who said they had trouble taking Bantu. Thanks so much for subscribing. They had trouble taking Bantu knots out. And that's why they preferred to twist. So if you have trouble taking Bantu knots out, it is simple. You're really just twisting the hair like a doorknob. Of course, if you twist one way, it's gonna get tighter. But if you twist the other way, it just comes right apart. Okay? So let's get to blow drying. Technical difficulties. Let's plug this up. If we actually plug the blow dryer up, maybe it will work. So let's do it. So that first section is done, and I'll just kind of talk you through that. I just love the versatility of curly hair. Like, look at that stretch. Okay, so what I do first is, of course, make sure your section is detangled, and then stretch the hair with your hand. Pull it down so it's kind of stretched. Take your blow dryer and start to stretch it and blow it dry.
a straight with a blow dry.
Oh yeah.
You don't need a flat.
That's the thing. I'm glad you said that. So she just says you got it straight with the blow dry. That's the key. The key to a good silk press is to make sure the hair is as straight as it can be while you are blow drying it. So if you do that, you're doing less work. It's less heat that you have to put on the hair, less damage, less likely that you're gonna have any heat damage. And yeah, because you only really have to go through the hair one pass, because you see how straight it is already, and we have not even used any type of flat iron yet. So yeah, make sure when you blow dry, you're not just drying the hair, you're putting some tension to it too, so that it's less work when it's time to flat iron. Are you doing the middle part or side part? Middle part, side part.
Side part.
You got it. And are you doing straight or curl?
Curl.
You got it.
So do you recommend the same product for straightening your hair as you do for curling?
Well, while I'm straightening it, I use slightly different products while it's straight. Less product. You know how I do LOC while it's curly, all of that. No, the only thing I'm gonna put in while it's straight, so it's not weighed down. We're gonna do a leave-in conditioner, which I did, some blow dry, and then I'll put a serum in, and that'll be it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question was asked, do I recommend the same products while it's straight and when it's curly? And the answer is no. So when you're straightening your hair, let's start when it's curly. When the hair is curly, typically you're putting a lot more product on it. I like to LOC, that's a leave-in conditioner, cream moisturizer, and oil. I don't put those products in while it's while it's straight, because it will leave the hair super weighed down and you won't get the flow that you want. But for when the hair is straight, I only typically use the leave-in conditioner, and that is in the beginning before I blow dry. And then after the leave-in conditioner, I'll go ahead in with the serum. Today we're gonna use the Silk Essentials Thermal Strengthening Serum, because you wanna use a heat protectant. And that'll be it. And then sometimes I'll go in with S3 spray, and that's by Influence. It silk and softens, give you some UV protection, and gets rid of flyaways, things like that. So I use that as well. But literally, you want to keep the products to a minimal while you are flat ironing, because you don't want it to look greasy, weighed down, all that good stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and straighten her hair, and then we will, this is almost gone. So really one full pump, but because the bottle is almost done because it gets used often, so about that much. Okay. Emulsify in your hand. Start with the bottom. I always start underneath, because if it's too much product on your hand, you would rather the underneath of your hair get more saturated than the rest, and then just kind of work your way through. Let's make sure these are on. Then I do like to use a wax stick on the flyaways, on the edges, and that just helps keep those edges laid down, keep that kitchen laid down, as they call it. And you're just gonna lightly apply it all over the edges, and then we'll go through the flat iron. Now the edge stick is really just, or the wax stick is really just like curl wax that people used to use back in the day, but it's in stick form, so it works very well. It's convenient. So what I like to say about the wax stick, head down for me please, is when you're using it, especially to keep those edges straight, you want to use it in conjunction with heat versus when you use products like edge control. Edge control, you don't need it. You don't need any heat with it, but it's going to be used on dry hair. So because it has that wax base, you're going to use it on dry hair. Gels, you want to use those on wet hair. Gels are water based. You're going to use it on wet hair and then tie it down and allow it to dry. So that's going to be the biggest difference with some of the different products that people like to use to smooth their edges down. And she is getting a trim, so because of that, we're just going to go through and lightly flat iron to silken it out, and then trim, and then we'll go back through and add some curls. So for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm Jamie with Curly Girl Coach. You can please like and subscribe. Check me out on curlygirlcoach.com. And thanks so much for tuning in. We're gonna keep on moving. I guess we're calling today Silk Press Sunday. Don't usually work on Sundays, but Helene helped me out with having me come in on an additional day this week. But I usually take about 1/4-inch partings, but that's going to depend on how thick the hair is. And they don't have to exactly be straight, but you want to make sure you can get even heat. And then I just chase through with a carbon comb. Carbon combs are going to be better for silk pressing or using any hot tools because they are heat resistant and they will not melt. So yeah, if you don't have a carbon comb, get one. I'm using the Paul Mitchell Neuro Flat Iron, one of my faves. And you see, because we did such a good job of blow drying, I'm able to go through the hair one time. One time is enough to get it straight. We will go through it once more to give it some curl after the trim, which is why we want to keep that initial heat to a minimum. And on some of the places that might look a little more textured, I'll go ahead and give it a spray of the S3 spray, which to me just does a great job of giving that flat iron a little bit of boost. Add some shine, and it still has that UV protection element. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the chat. I'll be happy to answer. Oh yeah, and after we go through, after we trim, I did get a new flat iron. It was on sale. It's also a Paul Mitchell Neuro, but it's the one that has the beveled edges, which is my absolute favorite. So we'll use that for curl. Yeah, this flat iron is 1.5 inches wide. It has a 30-second heat up time and an automatic shut off. So if you forget to turn it off, it'll just turn right off for you. Her highlights covered very nicely. Of course, I didn't go live during her color process, but she was ready to go darker. We covered up some blonde highlights. But whenever you are doing that color to cover up or go back dark, you want to make sure saturation is the key. You really want to make sure the hair is well saturated, so that once you rinse, you don't have any of that lightness from the previous color peeking through. And again, we're just using that flat iron, one pass, and chasing it with the carbon comb, which does a couple things. Detangles the hair as you're going down and gives you just a little bit of extra sleekness. She still has some nice flow to her hair, which is just gorgeous. Now how long it will last is one of those to be determined things. We're gonna keep a middle part for now because we're about to trim, but yeah, just making sure to take care of your hair at night is gonna be essential, especially if you're one of those girlies that don't wear your hair straight often. Being sure when you're in the shower, you're covering your hair with a scarf or bonnet, and also using a, you want to use your shower cap, your scarf, your bonnet on top of it, and also don't take your hair down in the bathroom while it's still steamy. Because sometimes the steam after the fact can get you. So I always when I'm wearing my hair straight, give it some time or go into another room and unwrap your hair. And that'll allow you to keep it straight just a little bit longer. I know some people kind of swear by the silk pillowcase, or satin pillowcase. Well, sometimes you need a little bit more than that. And you actually have to wrap your hair. Okay, last section. Turn her a little bit more. Um, so I see your comment. You've never had your hair done by anyone but yourself. And I am one of those people who also mainly do my hair. And I've been doing my own hair since the 3rd grade, which is how I ended up becoming a hairdresser, I think. But how much is getting what she's getting? Of course, it's always going to depend on your area, your hair length, and all of those things. But for a blowout here where I am, it can range anywhere from $50 to $70, and all of my services are a la carte. So remember, she got color, treatment, trim, blowout. So all of those things are going to be priced separately. And of course, color is going to depend on, hey, did you get one single color? Did you get multiple colors? Did you get highlights? So, yeah, it's really going to depend on exactly what you get. But you can, where am I located? I'm located in Greensboro, North Carolina, and all of my pricing and services are actually on my website. So you can check it out at curlygirlcoach.com. And I know some places can be a lot more expensive, and I'm sure some places can be a lot less expensive depending on what area you're located. So let's go ahead and get her trimmed. And okay, let's pull this out. Here, her ends are not bad at all. So we're just going to be taking what's needed. We're not doing a haircut. Right, okay, yeah. We're just going to be trimming her ends, taking what's needed. And I like to do that off of a middle part. Just so it can be even on both ends. Head slightly down. Yes, her hair is beautiful. Thank you. Which way do you wear your hair? Which side?
I think the part going that way.
This one. So you have some grown out layers. Are you growing out your layers, or do you want them
Growing out.
growing them out? Okay. So since she's growing out her layers, we're not going to touch them, if only just cut the split in. So we're not gonna give her more layers, but even if you are growing out your layers, you want to make sure to actually cut them every now and again, because if there's split ends in your layers, then it will break and not grow. Well, it'll continue to grow, but it'll grow and break. So you still want to make sure that you are addressing them every now and again to be sure that the hair is healthy and continues to grow. All right, let's get some curls. This is my favorite, the Paul Mitchell Neuro, the one with the beveled edges. And we're gonna use this one to curl. Like I said, it has a 30-second heat up time. And yep, put a little bit more serum on. Because I'm just curling, I'll go through with much bigger sections than I did earlier. So maybe double the size of the sections that I had before. And boom. It just gives the hair so much body. That's the Influence Essery Spray. Yes.
Oh, that stuff smells so good.
Mm-hmm. One of my faves. You want me to comb your hair after? Or no, just leave them?
Yeah.
Just leave them?
You can come with
Okay, you can comb it. I said you can comb it. I can comb it.
Yeah. I'll leave it to the profession.
Right.
Good thing I did come today because even when it stopped raining, it was kind of muddy.
Mm-hmm.
And my hair probably.
Yeah, it was so humid. It was so humid after it stopped raining.
It was.
So today was definitely a better day
Yes.
to get this done than Friday.
Yes.
Spray it with a little firm holding spray. This is by Influence as well. Has a very light hold actually, even though it's firm holding spray, but it's a buildable hold so that if you want it to be a little stronger, you can reapply. But even with me spraying it now, it just gives you a very flexible hold, which I love. And it smells good.
I second that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These bottom pieces, when I curl them, I always curl them toward the face, just to give you that look of body. And then the next ones, I'll curl them away from the face. So, feeling that hole. The next row, I usually curl them away from the face to still start building that bang and continue to fill in that hole in the back or on the side rather. for the face. But now we got this hole here, so we use that second and the next rose, curl it away from the face to fill that in. Want edge control or no?
Nah.
I was thinking no. 2. So since we're not doing any edge control, I like to take my comb and my holding spray and just spray it on the edge of the comb, and then just smooth those edges out. And it just helps any flyaways. I'm gonna do it on the other side too. So pretty. Let's do our comb out and a little holding spray. Just look at the body. Gorgeous. Let's turn it to the front. Thank you so much for subscribing. And yes, her hair is just gorgeous. Let me give y'all one final view. For everybody who's tuned in, thank you so much for liking, subscribing. You can follow me at Curly Girl Coach. Find me at curlygirlcoach.com. And stay tuned for more. Hit that notification bell so you can know when I'm tuning in. So have a great Sunday. All right, bye-bye.